folks, almost exactly 4 years ago, I purchased a 2012 Nissan Leaf fully electric car. Here it is, take a look. So I bought this car used. It had about 1,200 miles on it. Today it has about 52,000 miles on it. When I first purchased the car, it ran on electricity, and it still does. But there has been a big development recently in the source of the electricity for this electric vehicle. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Not too far away from the charging station where I charge my car every day at work, over the last few months, my students and I, and you might be one of them if you're watching this, constructed a really amazing thing. Take a look. No, it's the garden. But that doesn't power the car. What powers the car? Got to get a little farther down here so you can really see it. Nice sunflower, huh? What powers the car is that solar array. That's right. My students and I constructed this 4.8 kilowatt photovoltaic solar array, along with some incredible help from some really great friends and supporters of our projects here at Earthshine Nature and Trails Carolina. Thank you, Bob and Jim, and anyone else who contributed to this wonderful project. But especially, thank you to Trails Carolina and the Academy at Trails Carolina and all of my students who helped make this happen, helped build this. We put this together from donated materials that were donated to our classroom, this little humble log cabin deep in the forest. And here it is, making power for the building and for my car. And of course, here we are growing organic veggies and sunflowers to put in our own bellies to give us really yummy, clean energy from the earth. And of course, the clean energy coming from the sun, not today, it's raining, but it is making a little. But that energy goes into the building to power our animal habitats and to power my car. So let's take a walk back over to the car. Oh, by the way, the golf cart's also solar powered. Take a look. I should say solar charged. Neither my golf cart or my car or the building are solar powered, they're solar charged. Well, the building's solar powered. But the power coming from the solar array goes into the building's grid. Whatever needs it the most draws it. Here we have a level 2 Clipper Creek electric vehicle charging station. And this station is charging my car right now. See the blinking lights? It's almost full. On most days, when the sun's out really bright like it was this morning, the car is filled up on electrons generated from the solar array, which of course is getting its energy from the sun. So my car is solar charged and solar powered. And you know, I can't help but use this as a teachable moment. So take a look at this neat little thing I added the other day. See anything new? Take a look. Solar powered Leaf. The 100% electric has been there since I bought the car. I added that myself as a, of course, added solar powered, but you know, it's a billboard, and it helps inspire, teach, educate, you know, folks on the fact that, hey, this is possible. It is real. It's not some pipe dream or hippie, you know, pie in the sky kind of thing. It's real, and you can do it too. So now what we have to do is unplug the car and head out. Yeah, it's almost finished charging. I'm going to go ahead and head out now. It's that easy. All right, it's time to hit the road on a journey that is basically a this is a replay, version 2.0, if you will, of the first long distance journey I took in the Leaf. Around 52,000 miles ago, actually. And you can check out that journey here. Check out this link at the bottom of the screen. Or maybe it's over on the left or the right. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it. But anyway, you can check out my Blue Ridge Mountain Excursion version 1, and this will be Blue Ridge Mountain Excursion version 2, or something like that. And so the whole point of this trip is to see how the Leaf does after 4 years of driving and 50,000 miles of driving. And I've lost 4 capacity bars. 4 battery capacity bars, so that's how the car shows you that the battery is lost. The capacity is to store the amount of energy that it had when new. So will we make it? I don't know, but that's the whole point of the trip. We're going to see if we can do it and see how the electric vehicle supply equipment, charging station infrastructure has changed in the last 4 years. And so let's do this thing. All right. To start off, we have, well, first I'll tell you what the car's telling me. We have 52 miles of range in drive and 57 miles of range in eco. Now, the reason it's so low is because I drive uphill almost all the way to work every day. And so the car thinks we're going to keep going uphill because this is a 2012 Leaf. So it has the guessometer, which estimates or guesstimates the remaining range based on how you were driving before you stopped the car on the last drive. As well as humidity. As you can tell, the humidity is pretty high, it's raining, temperature, and things like that. All figured into the pot. So let's check out Leaf Spy, however. Leaf Spy is this really cool app that, well, Leaf Spy Pro, I should say, that gives you even better detailed data on the car's systems. So right now we have 94.4% state of charge, 201 gids, and 15.6 kilowatt hours remaining. My battery doesn't charge all the way up anymore. But 15.6 is about what I average, around 15 to 15.5. And it says we have 51.1 miles until very low battery warning, and we're averaging about 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. So take a look. Let's see what other metrics we can check out here. We have tire pressure's good. Battery temperature is between 77 and 81. See there, all the different sensors are showing the temperature of the batteries, or the actual segments in the battery. The main battery, the main drive battery, traction battery. All right, so let's do it. We've got about it's probably about 40 miles to go before we get to our first destination and our first charging station, and most of that drive is up a fairly steep mountain. Usually I've been able to do it, but I've never had only I've never been missing 4 capacity bars. So I should have 12 bars total. Now I have 9. So let's see how she does. Also, it looks like I'm going to be running the air conditioner a little bit because of the defrosting, and that's going to use some power, as well as windshield wipers and headlights. So this is going to be a real test. We might not even make it to the first charging station. I know that sounds like, wow, you don't have much faith, but you know, I'm just looking at this practically because, I mean, it's possible we won't make it. I've always made it before, but again, I've never had this low of a capacity rating on my battery. I just lost the capacity bar 2 days ago, by the way. So it's a fairly recent change. So maybe it won't affect us too much. So the road I'm driving on is the road that I take every day to work. It's about 3 miles of dirt. 3 miles of gravel road on the side of a mountain in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. And the whole round trip's about 25 miles, but about 6.5 or so miles of that trip is this road. It's a twisty, turny mountain road, lots of big rocks jutting up out of the bedrock into the road. Often there's big ruts after rains, washboards, you name it. It can be a pretty crazy road. But the really interesting thing to note here is the Nissan Leaf has been excellent for this little road. I've never had really any trouble. The car just keeps going. You know, I have had a couple of flat tires and one shock absorber and one strut sprang a leak, and I had to have them replaced early on, but that might have been equipment failure from manufacturer, because I haven't had any more issues out of my struts and shocks. You know, and of course I am an easy driver. I don't barrel through all the bumps. I just take it easy. Like you see now, I'm just cruising around the bad spots. So yeah, you know, I would assume that most people drive their Nissan Leaf on the road. They don't usually get off the road on the dirt, but it is a very capable vehicle off of the beaten path, so to speak. So don't be afraid to drive a Leaf on a dirt road. Now in places like this, it's sort of like I'm off-roading. I have to take it very slow and pick my route around the boulders. I probably wouldn't recommend a Nissan Leaf as a rally car, although I think somebody's done that recently where they modified a Leaf and took it across Eurasia, I believe, and I'll do a little research on that, and if I can find it, I'll put the link right here on the video. But yeah, I saw a little clip about it. It looked pretty amazing, but no, that's not a stock Leaf. That Leaf had some modifications done to it, which made it a little more capable. But still, excellent vehicles, and you know, don't be afraid to drive them, even in this kind of weather. Boy, this road is really a mess. We've been having so much rain lately. We are definitely out of the drought that we had last year, and we have a surplus of water. The roads are getting really bad, sort of like the mud season up in the Pacific Northwest, but maybe not that bad yet. But yeah, everything's growing and loving it. It's wonderful. You know, I do believe it's connected to climate change, because we typically don't get this kind of rain this time of year. It's usually a little dry this time of year. You know, we might have a pop-up afternoon thunder shower, but nothing like the amount we're getting. So I've had the Leaf for almost exactly 4 years, and really the main issue I have with this car is, one, the windshield wipers make funny noises. They, you know, when the windshield is not really wet, they kind of jitter. They kind of bounce. The driver's side wiper bounces on the glass, and I've tried changing the blades, getting it adjusted. Nothing seems to help. So I just think it is a design flaw, or maybe a damaged arm. I don't really know. I don't have another arm to test it out. But maybe one day I will. Then I can try it out. Pavement. All right, now we're on the pavement, and it's going to get a lot quieter because, hey, electric vehicles, they're very quiet. No growling engines. I can't stand noise in my car. I want to be able to hear my stereo, and that's one incredible thing about the Nissan Leaf. One of the things I love about it is because it's so quiet, I can listen to my music and really hear my music, or my podcasts. Listen to a lot of podcasts as well. So other things about the car that I don't like, there's not much. So the windshield wipers, I don't think the seats are very comfortable, but that's just me. You might love them. Everybody's different. the range. I mean, that's really the big one. You know, other than that, everything's great about this vehicle, really. The range, you know, this is a 2012, so less, you know, around 80 miles of range when new, and you know, that's, for most people, that's not a problem. The average American drives something like 45 or 50 miles a day on average, and I typically are under that now. Used to, I drove around 60 miles a day, but now it's about 25 or 30. So the car still suits me very, very well. I mean, I occasionally go to neighboring cities and towns like I'm doing today, and I don't have any trouble usually. Now, of course, I've lost 4 capacity bars now, so we'll see what that does. But typically, because all the neighboring cities and towns have level 3 charging stations, when, you know, where I can plug in and charge in 20 minutes to 80% capacity. See what I mean? So I don't really need to worry about keeping my car fueled. I can plug it in at any number of charging stations. Many of them are solar powered, and I run my car on electricity, and a lot of it's solar generated, and I really don't have to worry. I just have to plan my trips a little bit more than I normally would do, and I don't mind that. You know, it's the trade-off. Plan my trips, have a little bit reduced range, but in return, it's almost free to drive, and it never hardly ever breaks. It's the beauty of electric vehicles. They're so simple when you get past the computers. Everything else is very simple. You know, very few moving parts to brake, so they just keep going. Knock on wood, they just keep going. This one does. 52,033 miles, and I have had virtually no issues with this car. With the you know, the electric drive system, the battery and motor, nothing. Had no trouble out of it at all. The other parts of the car that would normally brake on other cars, you know, it's about the same, I guess. I don't have that many issues so far, but, you know, like I said, a couple of shock absorbers, wiper blades, 2 sets of tires. No, I'm sorry, I'm on my 3rd set of tires. My first set, the one that it came with, then another one, and then the one I just put on it a few months ago. They have about 2,200 miles on them now. So it's a little, this one has been a little harder on tires, and I think the reason is that dirt road. I drive that thing every day, and it's just, it's you know, a really abrasive rock, and it just eats my tires alive. So I don't think most people are going to have that kind of tread or that kind of tire wear on most Nissan Leafs. All right, so we are entering Pisgah National Forest, and this is the first very steep climb on the trip. I'm beginning to wonder if we're going to make it. We have 40 miles of range and about 60% battery capacity remaining after driving the 12 miles from my place of business in the rain with the windshield wipers and the lights on. So this is going to be really close. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not, but we got to try so we can know. Luckily, it's all uphill to the top of the ridge at the parkway, the Blue Ridge Parkway. And if I have any issues getting there, I could just turn around and roll back downhill and regenerate as I roll and get back home, at least. But traditionally, when I've done this route, I have made it to the parkway with about 12 to 15 miles of range or so. But that's traditionally. That's not missing 4 bars of battery capacity and weather conditions and such. So this will be an interesting drive. Well, so I think any minute now my car is going to start talking to me, telling me that I'm not going to be able to reach the destination. Well, little does it know that at the top of this ridge, it's all downhill. So we might be able to make it to the destination. No guarantees. It's raining still. I've got the headlights on and the windshield wipers occasionally. I've turned off the air conditioning until I need it. So far, so good. But, wow, it's a beautiful, rainy, foggy summer day, I'll tell you that. But anyway, the reason I think it's going to start telling me I can't make it is because I'm going uphill steadily. And the distance to my destination, to the next charging station, is 29 miles. And the car is saying, well, the gasometer is saying we have 26 miles of range. Yikes. But, again, we're going uphill. So, when you go uphill, it confuses the gasometer. And, yeah, the car doesn't really know how far it can go because we're going uphill. So anyway, we'll see if we can do this. Rain's setting in harder now. We're coming up on the parkway now. Rain's lit up a little bit. That's good. Don't have to use the wipers as much. But boy, it's foggy. All right, the parkway, we made it. With 4 miles of range remaining on the gasometer. Entering Haywood County. This is the highest point on the trip. It's all downhill from here. All right, now we start regenerating. Let's see what the state of charge is. State of charge was 26.5 and 4.1 kilowatt hours remaining. So hopefully we'll regenerate enough going down now to get us to our next destination, which is 20 miles away. The car's telling me I have 4 miles of range. We'll see about that. Kind of scary. Pushing the edge of the envelope in the rainstorm, top of a mountain, no charging stations. Might be crazy, we'll see. Okay, so we're still descending. We're up to about a 31% state of charge. We have 17 miles of range remaining, and the car actually says I can go 12 miles now, so I don't know, we might pull this off, or it might just be really close, and I might have to call a friend to come and tow me to the charging station. But hey, it'd be exciting, wouldn't it? But let's just try to make it. I'm going 30 miles an hour just to save power and hopefully regenerate a little bit. But it's not regenerating now because it's having to use power. Even though we're going downhill, it's still having to pull all the weight of the vehicle along. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this. I know I keep saying that, but it's getting kind of scary. Okay, so this is some good news. I've been rolling steadily downhill, and I just noticed that the gasometer is saying I can go 15 miles now. And it is exactly 15 miles to my destination. But there's a little hill between here and there. We'll see if that's accurate. I don't know. Oh boy. My car just told me that I have a low battery charge. Well, I knew that. I've known that for quite some time. But guess what? I'm still passing gas right now. I love saying that because I literally am passing gas. Check it out, a gas station. I don't have to go there. Even though I'm pushing the edge of the envelope with a very low battery, it still makes me happy that I don't have to stop and get gas. Another interesting thing of note, you can't see it, but to the right, over in a big field, there is several acres, I'm guessing about 30 to 40 acres of solar. A solar farm. I can see it now, but it's right over there. Take my word for it. Really neat to see that happening. All around. There's solar farms popping up, community solar, utility solar. It's wonderful. And you know, if your house is located close to one of these community solar power plants, or just a utility solar power plant, then if you have an electric vehicle and you charge your car at home, your car is being charged on solar. And so it is very clean to drive. Don't believe the people out there, the naysayers, who say that driving an electric vehicle is dirtier than driving a gas vehicle. That is absolutely a falsehood. It's totally wrong. Check out my link here in the video, and I will include links at in the description for the several different studies that have been done showing that from cradle to grave, electric vehicles are always cleaner. All right, we just crossed over the top of the last hill before our destination, and we're gonna make it. We're down to 5 miles of range on the gasometer and 3.6 miles of range in the on the trip to the destination. And I guess I'm hungry. I can't talk, but yeah, I think we're gonna make it. This makes me happy. All my doubting, you know, and here we are going downhill regenerating. It's awesome. Even with the adverse weather conditions, we're still gonna roll in, plug into a DC quick charger and charge this thing up to 80% before we continue over another big mountain ridge to our final destination for the evening, Cherokee, North Carolina. All right, we made it. Waynesville, North Carolina. And we have 6 miles of range remaining and 0.6 mile to go to our destination. So it is possible, even with 4 capacity bars missing on your battery, you can still do it in a Nissan Leaf. So far I've driven 42 miles, but you know, like I said, the car will go farther than that. Most of that trip was just uphill, so it really ate away at my range. And here we are. We made it with 6 miles of range remaining on the gasometer. Let's take a look and see exactly how many kilowatt hours we have left and our state of charge. Okay, so we have a 16.5% state of charge. That's really low. That's the lowest I think I've ever had it. And 2.7 kilowatt hours remaining. Yeah, that was really pushing the edge of the envelope. All right, let's go plug this thing in. Car's all charged up. Well, not all the way because we used a fast charger. Charged up to 77.9% state of charge, 12.6 kilowatt hours. Gasometer saying we have about 53 or 4 miles of range, but I believe it when I see it. I have a feeling we're going to get to our next destination, no problem at all. We have to go up another big ridge down the other side. We're going to cross over Soco Gap above Cherokee, and that's our next destination, the Cherokee Level 2 charger at the Visitor Center. So let's do it. Okay, so I just pulled up on my car's navigation system the distance to the Cherokee Welcome Center, and it's only 18 miles. So it's a breeze. It's a really steep mountain between here and there, but it should be fine. I've never had any trouble in the past, and I don't think I'm going to have any trouble now. So let's do it. dirty old Packard. Wonder what kind of gas mileage it gets. It's probably not too good, but you know, it is a beautiful car. The really older cars are they were just really well made and really beautiful, and built with, you know, with love, and I do love that styling, but unfortunately, you know, I can't go there anymore. You know, I've gone past the point of no return, so to speak. Driving an electric vehicle for so long, I can't go back. I'll never go back to gas. And hopefully soon there'll be an option for me to replace my only remaining gasoline-powered vehicle, which is a Honda Pilot, that we have to have to haul heavy loads, use in the winter when the weather is really bad, and haul lots of people when that does happen occasionally. But when the day comes, when there's an affordable four-wheel drive, on-road, off-road style vehicle, you know, I'll go there because it's the right thing to do, the smart thing to do, and it saves a lot of money, you know. So we're coming into Maggie Valley now, and we're only about 15 miles from our destination, so not that far to go to the little mountain community of Cherokee. Stopped at a gas station to change the battery in the GoPro. Hope nobody runs me off for not buying gas. Alright, so we're heading up over Soco Gap. We have right now at the moment about 25 miles remaining on the gasometer. Let's see here. How many miles do we have to go? 14. We don't have any problems. This is going to be easy. It's pouring the rain again. Smoky. I mean, it is the Smoky Mountains after all. Made it to the top of Soco. We have 14 miles remaining on the gasometer. I haven't checked my state of charge, but I will in a minute. But I'm fairly certain we're going to make it to Cherokee like we haven't many times in the past. All right, so we're over the top, passed under the parkway for the second time at the highest point on the trip. I was wrong earlier, and I said that the first parkway crossing was the highest point. Now this is actually the highest point by a few hundred feet. And so we have one more destination tonight. We're going to plug in at Cherokee and charge up while eating dinner, and then head to the spot where I will be staying for the evening at a friend of mine's house in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's the casino, in case you were wondering. The Cherokee Casino. That massive monstrosity. going tonight for dinner. I don't play any of the games, but I do like to eat the food. They have really nice restaurants, and I go a couple of times a year. And it's really worth it because you know, you're supporting the local economy and the tribe, and not losing your money. I don't know if you can see it or not, but over there in the parking lot that we're passing on the left, there are 2 solar trees, actually 3, that were built by the tribe to help green Cherokee a little bit. They're the charging station we're going to be using here in a moment, because we're only a half a mile from our destination. That charging station is also powered by a solar tree and a wind turbine. So although today we're not going to be getting much benefit from that because it is very overcast and rainy, you know, still the power that has been putting back into the grid will offset some coal, and that is a good thing. All right, so we're about to pull into the parking lot and plug in the Leaf. We have driven so far about 72 miles and total for the whole trip. And here we are. We have 37 miles remaining. So, you know what? Even missing 3 bars on our capacity meter, we still were able to complete this trip without very much difficulty. A little bit scary there for a while, but not a big deal. There it is. Been here quite a while, but it's been working fine every time I've used it. Hopefully it'll work today. Schneider electric charger. Here we go. All right, so according to Leaf Spy, we have 48.7% state of charge and 7.7 kilowatt hours remaining. So let's plug this thing in. All right, so we're going to leave it here to charge for a couple of hours on this free Schneider electric charger. And we'll come back in a couple of hours and check on things. All right, so I've pulled up here to pick up my Leaf. My car is fully charged. And over here to the right of it happens to be a Tesla Model X parked here and charging. And yeah, it's a North Carolina plate, P90D Model X, and it's charging away. So I'm going to unplug and we're going to get out of town, because I had a really strange little altercation. I don't know if you really want to call it an altercation, with some what may have been locals. I don't know, but I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Funny, I have 96 miles of range in Eco. That's only because I came so far downhill after the last charge, and the car thinks we're going to keep going downhill, but you know, you can't trust the gasometer. In reality, we actually have 94.2% state of charge and about 15.5 kilowatt hours in the battery. So let's head off on the last leg of our journey for tonight. destination. Yeah, it's still raining. That's why you heard that horrible sound from the windshield wipers. But almost to our final destination. And the car has 31 miles remaining, according to the gasometer. Whoa, snake! Oh yeah, little garter snake. Go on, little guy. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go that way. No, go that way. Don't be so afraid. Trying to help you. Go. Woo! You're going the wrong way. You crazy little thing. Catch him. Got him. Okay. All right, off you go. Go on. You're going the wrong way, not this way. No, that's the wrong way. No. There. Crazy little snake. So we have 54% state of charge and 8.6 kilowatt hours remaining. And that is the end of that. I'm going to go plug in the car and get some shut-eye. Okay, so I've been driving along here for the last, I don't know, hour or so, trying to get my car down into turtle mode. I've never had it that low, and I wanted to see what it was like, where turtle mode engaged, and we're not there yet. We just hit very low battery warning, and that's at 1.8 kilowatt hours remaining in the battery, and 15.3% state of charge. So, well, let's just go and see where we hit turtle mode and what actually happens. Here we go. Now, we're going downhill, so it's probably not gonna, definitely not gonna use as much power as it would as if we were climbing like we were just doing. But it's a science experiment. We'll see what happens. Now at very low battery warning, it doesn't show any miles of range at all. I have 3 lines across the gasometer's reading. Luckily we're about, I don't know, less than a mile from where I can plug in for the night. So this is just an experiment to see what the car does when it goes into turtle mode. Again, I've had the car almost 53,000 miles and never once hit turtle mode. And if we can go 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour, and we have, what did I say? Oh yeah, 1.8 kilowatt hours, then I would assume we could go 3 or 4 miles. Give it a little bit of juice. Turn up the volume a little so we can hear Electra when she tells us, again, any information she wants to impart to us about our crazy foolhardy scheme. Guess I could even turn on the headlights, turn on the air conditioner, roll up the window, turn on the air conditioner full blast at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Pulling, gosh, we're using 500 watts of power just to run the air conditioning. All the neighbors are probably trying to figure out why this little blue car keeps going back and forth up and down the road. Well, I guess we can go up the hill. Yeah, we'll try that again. So before I started filming this, we decided to go up a really steep mountain to run out some power to try to get it into turtle mode. That didn't work. Got it down to about 5. Then we went up another hill, dirt road, and that got it down to 3 or 4. Then we went all the way out to the highway, which is a couple of miles, and that got us down to where we are now. And that's when I decided I should start filming. Now we're climbing. Not steeply, but we are climbing. I'm gonna go look at the Leaf Spy and see what it says. 1.6 kilowatt hours remaining. Wow, this is impressive. Car just keeps going. Still no turtle mode. Back up the dirt road again. All right, let's see what we have on kilowatt hours now after climbing that hill. 1.1, lowest it's ever been. I don't want to be too far away from the house when it hits that point, so I'm going to head back down. I know we're going to regenerate, but we won't regenerate much because the air conditioning's on full blast and the headlights are on high beam. Forgot to put it on high beam. Should use a little bit more. Ooh, we're down to 0.8 kilowatt hours.
I'd turn around and go back up.
Go back up? Okay, that's probably a good idea. Because that is the steepest climb. 0.8. That's spooky. Never been that low. I mean, it's almost a dead battery right there. Now, of course, when we hit turtle mode, I'm going to have to turn off everything, and the only thing I'll leave running is the Leaf Spy, so we can see exactly how low it is when we roll in to plug into the charging station. Come on, turtle mode, does it really exist? I wonder how far you can go on turtle mode. What I'm going to do is when it hits 0.5, even if it's not on turtle mode, or even if I get to the top of the hill first, I'm just going to turn around and head back down and hope it goes into turtle mode as we descend. 7% state of charge. Wow. 6.7%. Down to it, and we can't, if like turtle mode will only get you 200 yards or whatever, we will have to walk down and get your vehicle and then pull it back to the house. Ooh, 6.1%.
Get it turned around, aim it downhill, and it'll be fine.
You would think, unless the car shuts off. I mean, I don't know. I've never been in turtle mode. Not really sure what happens, other than it slows way down and creeps along. 5.5% state of charge. I know, it's a play-by-play, but whatever. It's pretty fun. Pushing the edge of the envelope, huh? 5.3. Okay, we're at 0.6 kilowatt hours remaining. And 0.5, I think, is where it goes into turtle mode. But I could be wrong. Can't remember my documentation. Now it's at 0.5. Still no turtle. Kind of surprised. And again, we're regenerating. 1,000 watts. I hope the locals don't call the police because of the strange blue car that keeps going up and down the road. 4 kilowatt hours. Oh, turtle mode. The turtle has appeared. Okay, I must take a picture of the...
output is being limited.
Ooh, it spoke. All right, I need a picture of this. I can do that when we get back to the bottom though, but it looks like it's time to head home. Woo. Okay, it says motor power is limited on the dashboard. Wonder by how much. Oh, I push the accelerator and nothing happens. Wow. Literally nothing happens. Wow, that's crazy. I'm glad it's all downhill, so it looks like we planned this right, so that we can roll down into the yard where we can plug the vehicle in. All right, turning off lights, turning off air conditioning, rolling down the window. That way we won't like suddenly have a dead battery and, like, you know, be stuck on the road somewhere without brakes or steering. It'd be rather shocking if that did happen. Now we're just coasting and regenerating a tiny amount of power. See the turtle? So it does actually have a light with a little turtle. Whoa, the brakes are acting a little odd. Huh. Alright, here we are. We'll be able to get all the way around your vehicle before it dies. It still does have a little bit of pull, but not much. Alright, now let's see.
Take a picture of the...
Yeah, we'll see how many kilowatt hours I have remaining. This is officially the lowest I have ever taken this vehicle. First, I'll take a picture while I have it. All right. Take a picture of the turtle. We have 0.4 kilowatt hours. Ouch. 5.4% state of charge. That is officially the lowest I've ever had it. Probably could have gone a little farther, but not by much, and I wouldn't really want to push it. All right, now to see how long it's going to take to charge her up. It's the lowest it's ever been. I'm estimating 12 hours or so. Here we go. Come back later. All right, the car's all charged up. Took about 14 hours to charge it at level 1. Long time, but we did run it almost totally down. So, time to hit the road and head back home. So I've charged here at the Cherokee Visitor Center for about 2.5 hours while I went to lunch. And we have about 60 miles of range and about 80% state of charge. Plenty of enough juice to get me over to Waynesville to the fast charger. But I want to point something out that's really cool. Check this out. Look over here. This is something new I haven't noticed here before, but really good to know that they have. That's a Tesla charging station. So there's a Tesla destination charger here. So that will help you out if you have a Tesla, so come visit Cherokee. Let's turn back and take a quick peek at the front view of these solar arrays. So here we go, take a look. So take a look. You can see right up here in front of the Cherokee Welcome Center the two beautiful solar trees made with photovoltaic solar panels that are absorbing energy from the sun and feeding it back into the grid, while at the same time charging my car. So my car was solar charged today, and so yes, it is a solar powered Nissan Leaf. All right, time to head home. We have about 80% capacity, and like I said before, about 60, well, according to Eco, 61 miles of range, and we are on the road officially to Waynesville. All right, we're all charged up in Waynesville and ready to head back across the mountain and to home. So we have 85.2% state of charge and 14 kilowatt hours remaining in the battery. 68 to 75 miles of range. Now, that of course is not taking into account the big ridge we have to cross, but I think we'll be fine. So let's finish this thing. So I'm going to stop up here and check out the solar farm. Try to get a good view so you can really see it. See if I can find a road. I think this is the road right here. Yeah, this is it. There it is. That must be at least 30 or 40 acres maybe. I mean, I'm not a really good judge of area, but yeah, that's a pretty big solar farm. Now I'm going to go in from a different angle and take another look at it. It's really nice to see solar farms popping up all over the countryside around here, even in the middle of nowhere where you would least expect it. But hey, the sun shines everywhere, so, you know, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. All right, we just passed a sign back there. 34 miles to my destination. Actually, it's about 30 miles because I live about 4 miles outside of town. So we have 45 miles of range and drive. The air conditioning's on, the lights are on, and I think we'll be fine. Coming up on the Blue Ridge Parkway. No problems at all. We have about 44% state of charge and about 6.5 kilowatt hours remaining, and you know what? It's all downhill from here. So no problems at all to make this trip, even when the Leaf is missing 3 capacity bars. It does, you know, reduce my range a little bit, but I can still get wherever I need to get, and that's not a problem. So here we are, Blue Ridge Parkway ahead, crossing under right about now. Now it is all downhill. The car says I have 11 miles of range remaining. It's about 15 miles to my house, but it's all downhill. Won't be a problem. So I can safely say now that yeah, this trip has been totally successful. We actually learned a lot of things. We learned that, one, you know, you can, even when missing several capacity bars, you can still get around pretty well on a Nissan Leaf. Even an old one like this, a 2012. The new ones, 2017s, you know, 107 miles on the Lizard battery, even better battery chemistry. The 2018 Leaf, oh well, I don't even know much about it other than it is going to be amazing. Rumored to be 200-mile range or more. Redesigned body, even though I like the bug-eyed look of the original Leaf. You know, I think it's going to sell a lot more and be very popular. We also learned that turtle mode is a real thing, and it happens at less than half a kilowatt. And we know that it limits the motor power on the Leaf. And yeah, all in all, a very successful trip. Another thing we've learned during this voyage is that, yes, we do live in a temperate rainforest. It's been a very rainy last few weeks, and this weekend has been no exception. So, yeah, I love it. I absolutely love the rain. We had a terrible drought last year, and, you know, I will never curse the rain again, because the rain is what keeps the food web moving, keeps the trees growing, keeps the oxygen in the air, and keeps the food on the table. So never curse the rain. Well, we're back in civilization. 5-lane highways. You know, lots of people, cars. But we're almost home. It's really nice to live so close to the national forest and actually be so close to the national parks and all the amazing things where we just went on our little adventure for the weekend. And I can get there in an electric car. That's even better. We've driven 254 miles. Let's add about 6 to that. So around, I don't know, 260 miles for the whole trip, because we're not home yet. And gosh, I'll have to do the calculations. So about 260 miles, charged the car, I lost count, maybe 8 times. And then the cost for that for the whole trip, I'm gonna say it's gonna be under $10, maybe $12. I could be wrong. I'll have to do all the numbers and put them here at the end of the video. But yeah, you couldn't do that for you know, for any with any gasoline or diesel powered vehicle. There's no way. And of course, you can't fuel your gasoline or diesel powered vehicle at your house. You can't fuel your gasoline or diesel powered vehicle on solar power or wind power or hydropower. Clean energy, in other words. So all in all, you know, wonderful trip, wonderful car, and electric vehicles are the future. I'm totally convinced. There will be a time when you will walk outside and you will look at your gasoline powered clunker leaking oil on the ground, belching out noxious fumes, destroying the atmosphere, you know, breaking down all the time, and you will say, wow, why didn't I listen? Why didn't I listen to all those people who tried to tell me I should have gotten an electric vehicle? I don't know. But, you know, do it. Just listen to us. Those of us out here that are driving these vehicles, we have the experience. Just go find somebody who has an electric vehicle and go for a ride in one. It will change your mind and it will change your life. You will not want to go back to gas after driving one of these cars. I don't, and I'm not going to. So make a positive change in your life. Go electric. Go solar. It's freedom. We are now home with 15 miles to spare. Let me see what kilowatt hours we have remaining in the battery before we pull up on the porch and plug it in. 32.7% charge. 5 kilowatt hours remaining. And that's with running the air conditioning all the way. Headlights on, windshield wipers running, using a lot more power than normal. So, you know, even this old Nissan Leaf with limited range is still better than a gas vehicle. You might be saying, yeah, but what about the range? What about the fact that you can't drive more than 80 miles? This is true, but you have to learn to adapt. Again, is it worth it to you to save so much money on gas and oil and all the maintenance? Well, it's worth it to me. It's also worth it to me to help keep the earth clean by driving a clean vehicle, that's especially when it's powered by renewable energy. All right, we are home. Let's plug it in and get some fuel from our house, from the porch. It's incredible. Woo! And the music starts playing. All right, we're home. See you next time. Hey folks, so almost exactly 4 years ago I purchased a 19, where am I? The last century? Oops. All right, so I just pulled up the Welcome Center where I'm going, the Visitor Center in Cherokee on okay, so such is the life of a filmmaker. Not that I'm really a filmmaker, but I do like to make little films to help inspire people to change their life if they can. And so most of the time involved in making film is making the film. There's a lot of this, a lot of backing up, stopping. Yeah, and I don't even have a real cameraman, it's just me. All right, let's see here. Connect to the camera. Yeah, there's going to be cars. I think we're just going to have to get over it and just go with it. Yeah, like, you got it. All right, so okay, I'm starting the props, so let it warm up a second. Okay, camera is rolling.